Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my first vlog style video. I'm doing some summer scouting today. It's the evening of July 18th and it's like 100 degrees outside, hot, muggy, but we're gonna get out here and do some looking around for big bucks. Kind of got two goals today. One is to go check this trail camera that I got on some private land that butts up against to public land that I can hunt. And then also I'm gonna go way deep into the public land where I found a very nice set of sheds during turkey season, and I'll cut to that picture now. So it's a big 10-point frame with real long split broad tines. Really hope I can find where that buck's bedding, and whenever I get out there I'll kind of explain to you guys what I think it was doing or what it's going to do during hunting season. So hang on there with me. Hopefully I don't dehydrate and sweat to death out there. Got lots of water though with me, so should be good. I don't know about you guys, but the ticks have been bad this year. I'm gonna kind of douse my shoes and legs with this Sawyers. I feel like my screen's fogged up. That's how humid it is out here. So I put out quite a few spiderweb, quite a few trail cameras during the summertime, but I actually use them a little bit differently than what a lot of guys do. I put them out like right as I'm shed hunting, more or less. So really before you can really tell what the deer are. And with trail cameras nowadays, it's not really an issue with battery life. They'll last, all summer long. But I do that because I can come in here this time of year and get them out of here and still see what kind of deer are living in the area, and not have to worry about going in during later in the year to check them. I don't know about you guys, but I've really never killed a deer because of a trail camera per se. I killed one because I guess I knew it was there, but that doesn't necessarily mean I wouldn't be hunting that area anyway. So I don't really use trail cameras to kill deer. I just use them to figure out what we have going on where I hunt. I got one stolen already this year, so I got a little bad taste in my mouth from that, but part of it. That's why I don't buy real high-end ones. So here's what I got here. There's this ridge that runs east and west, and on that side of the ridge, which would be the south side, is a real large CRP field. And then at the end of the ridge to the west is crop fields. And these deer will come out of those crop fields and walk the edge of this, the ridge, usually about 2/3 of the way down to get in that polar vortex type scent stream. And they'll travel back up in here to bed, and there's just a beat path here. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a quick trail cam tip. So this is where I have my trail cam set up. I have it set up on this tree right here, that my camera will focus. I have it on this tree right here, and it's pretty much just watching this trail. There's two trails, one that come around this tree right here. But let me give you guys a pointer on trail cameras for the summertime. This is an old scrape that opens up every year. Now, a lot of people think that deer only use scrapes during the rut or coming up to the rut when they're marking their territory and all that kind of stuff. But it's not true. These deer will actually come in here and check this every time they walk by. They walk by this scrape, and if you put a trail camera over a scrape, you will see activity on that scrape all year round. So it's a great trick, especially on public land where you can't necessarily put out mineral or corn or anything like that. It's a good trick to put your trail camera over the old scrapes, because those deer still like to come in and they rely on their nose almost solely, and that's something they come in and smell year round. So just a little tip for you. Let's see how many pictures we got here. This is a little covert trail camera. You can get these for like 60 bucks. They work really well. Looks like my darn my gasket has fallen off. So last year there was a really nice deer working this area. I didn't get to hunt this very much just because I had a bigger one down the road. I was hunting, and I ended up killing that one during gun season last year. But my plan is, if there's, you know, a nice one in here, and you can see here, guys, like this trail coming off the, you know, it's a good trail. So there's a lot of deer that use this area, and this is actually private ground that I'm able to hunt, but literally not 40 yards from where I'm standing now is public. So what I will do is, the road is actually, I don't know, probably 300 to 400 yards up this valley, and these deer will work these ridges. So to kind of stay out of the wind and everything, I'll probably park up here and walk down in the bottom of this valley and come and set in one of these, sneak back up here and set in one of these, you know, good trees right there. Really any of these trees you could set in, these big timber trees, you can find all kinds of good ones. That one back there is a little more hidden, but you could even bring a climber in here and get up in one of those real quickly. So I don't know, I have to get a little better plan together for this spot, brainstorm it a little bit. I think it's going to be a good morning spot, honestly, because I think the deer will be coming off those fields and back in here to bed in the morning, and you could slip in without having to be exposed to any fields. There's another spot I scouted that's down that way farther that would also be a good morning spot. I struggle to find good morning spots. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like on my private ground I really have no good morning spots. So it's nice to be able to find little spots like that where you can utilize it during the mornings. Alrighty. The only thing bad about this area here is, man, when you do kill one, it sucks getting them out. It's going to be a quarter them up and pack them out on your back type of deal, which is fine. I kind of enjoy that kind of thing. So, alrighty, let's get in the pickup and let's get to the next spot. So this area is extremely hilly, and we had some just awesome turkey hunting back in here this year. A lot of fun. But didn't end up getting one killed. I had a buddy that was hunting with me. Had a really close call. I had already killed my bird with my bow before we got to hunting here, but man, it's just a lot of fun. So I was going to show you guys kind of what I'm dealing with, and it's a pretty long walk back to where we're going, but we found these sheds on this ridge right here while we were turkey hunting, and there's a saddle right here that I'm thinking will be a good area to look for a good tree to set in. And then obviously there's going to be hopefully some bedding maybe on this point, and I'm thinking there's crop fields down in this area, and it goes up this hill and onto this ridge, and I'm hoping that maybe there'll be some bedding on one of these points out here at a little different elevation. There's also a really good saddle there, but we're going to see. The mark there on Onyx is where we found the nice set of sheds, me and my wife, while we were turkey hunting. So hang in there with me. It's a little bit of a walk back here, so gonna get started. So when you're out here scouting in the summertime, this is the time to really think about how you would get into your hunting area. I don't think people pay enough attention to this topic at all. And if you do the same thing that you've done for years and years, if you come into the public land the same way everybody else does, you're probably not doing it right. So there's a large trail that comes into this public land. As you can see here, it's almost like a big mowed path. And when you walk through here, there'll be tree stands down this path, and there's tracks on this path for sure, but they're all done at night for sure. So what I typically do, you can go. This is on the top of a ridge here. These big paths are, and you can kind of see it goes straight downhill on both sides. And guys won't get off this path that hunt this area. In fact, you'll see on these big clear cuts, there'll just be ladder stands laying in the woods where people come in here and just throw them back up before season comes in. So you got to walk past a lot of that kind of stuff in these big public land pieces. And it seems like if you can get in there half a mile or more, those types of things disappear. A lot of public land that you can't get that far in, so that's whenever you have to do things like what Dan talks about. You know, look for little honey hole spots where people don't hunt, that maybe it's real close to the parking lot, real close to the road, little overlooked spots. That's my suggestion on when it comes to big public land. Fortunately enough, I live near some very nice public land where it's big enough where you can go in pretty deep. I say it's fortunate enough, it's kind of a lot of work too, but that's kind of half the fun of it. So stay tuned, or keep on walking. Show you guys how beautiful it is out here. Check out all those big hills in the background. So here's an example of you know, what we see on public ground a lot of times is these you know, ladder stands that are kind of in a, I don't know why, there's a deer trail right here. Easy to get to. That's probably why that's here. This is the stuff you got to keep walking past. Don't get frustrated every time you see something, you know, signs of hunters. Typically those, you know, aren't bow hunters either. A lot of times those are just gun hunters that come in here opening weekend and hunt, and then that's the end of it. Man, I keep getting smoked with cobwebs. So I just wanted to kind of clarify something on some ways you can see the difference between a buck bed and a doe bed. A lot of times with doe beds, there'll be, I heard something. There will be many beds in a small area. So like back there, I found that one bed, and then like, I don't know, maybe 5 yards later, I found another bed. Doe's bed all together in like a circle fashion. They all look different ways. They can all smell different ways. It's kind of their safe haven way of bedding. So a buck bed, first of all, a lot of times it's a single, and a lot of times it's in those spots where you're like, holy cow, I don't know how anything can sneak up on this thing. They'll be bedded up against, you know, some thick cover. A lot of people think that bucks will bed just in the middle of the biggest, thickest, nastiest spot you could think of. And typically, guys, that's not true. They aren't going to want to be in an area where they cannot get out of very easily. So you'll find bucks bedded on the edge of those really thick, nasty areas where they can, you know, see a certain amount of space, like on the edge of a field, or on a hillside where they can look down into open timber, but then they'll have cover to their back. And typically they're going to be able to smell wherever they cannot see. So they're going to walk into a bed, into the wind, typically going to turn around and then look downwind so that the wind is at their backs coming from the cover, and then they can see whatever's out in front of them. So kind of have a 2 layers of protection type scenario going on. Fun fact, and if you guys, I'm sure everybody that is on watching this page, they can they've heard of Dan Infalt and the Hunting Beast. All that information's on there. I didn't I can't really claim I found that out on my own. I did things where I confirmed that information. But Dan really helps you put the puzzle pieces together, and you kind of have aha moments. So I'm kind of close to the bottom property line of this place, and man, I just found a killer double ground blind made out of the old milk carton crates. Someone sent them up a little ground blind and they got some type of like a sign holder that they must put brush in front of or something. So for one, it's very hot. For two, kind of show you that what could possibly be a buck bed up here. Typically a buck is not going to bed up on top of the ridge. They're going to bed about 2/3 of the way down down the ridge, and they're going to bed on the leeward side. So what we have here is I found a single bed here, kind of tucked up against these little saplings, and then right up here on that tree right there is a rub. So I haven't found any other beds. And the one thing you can do when you find these beds is look down in here, and if you can find, a lot of times you can find hair where they've been, if you can see that, but where they've been laying in here recently. And if it's real recent, you'll be able to smell, you know, it'll smell musky or like a deer. So kind of an example of finding a decent bed. I don't know if this is a mature bed or not, but I can't see this being the absolute best bedding area on this ridge. So guys, this right here is why I'm telling you, you have to keep going on public land. Just keep going. I'm walking down this ridge, kind of looking for beds, and look here. Look at how long the main beam is on that thing. What a stud. Sweet! Keep going. Maybe I can find the match to it. So I'm probably 100 yards from where I last saw that, or when I found this shed. And I'm off a point here, and there's just a textbook buck bed here. This is where he is. This is where I think he's bedding. I'm about 2/3 of the way down the ridge up here. And you can see right here's the bed underneath this this tree. It looks like he maybe has his butt end right here, and then whirls around this tree, and then there's a pretty good rub on the tree in the bed here. This is probably a place where he beds. He may not bed here. Maybe in the summertime he may come in here during season and get away from the pressure. So, because we are way back in here. This is more fun than hunting to me, other than the part, you know, whenever you harvest the animal, that's obviously very rewarding, but to find this and figure these animals out's rewarding. So, all right, I'm back on the main trail after walking a few miles off of it. Man, today was a really successful day. I was only out here for a couple of hours, but you know, finding this, that really gives you some confidence, and it's amazing just how much a big antler will make you a little bit giddy for October 1st to come around. I had a really good shed season this year. I probably found 25 different sheds, and actually only one complete set, but I found I found probably 5 deer that were sure enough shooters next year. So hopefully this year I have a lot to chase after. I could do some spotlighting this summer and find where exactly they are, you know, early season here, but it's a good sign. Found a couple good beds, found some really good trails on some ridges that I think the nice bucks are going to use. So man, you just got to get out there and scout. I think I probably scout 5 times more than I hunt, probably more than that actually. So it's important. You got to know where they bed at. You got to know what wind they use. in any particular given situation, and you gotta have a plan how to get close to them. It's said that 100 yards is a long way for a deer in the daylight. So you have to get within that 100-yard range of where a deer is living, spending most of their time in that bed. So find that and you'll find success. I'm gonna get off here because this hill is killing me. See you guys later.